Good afternoon, viewers. Your teacher today is Dr. Bbosa Science. Dr. Bbosa is a teacher at the Science Foundation College, the best school that teaches sciences. Today, 5th October 2020, we are going to revise questions in autotrophic nutrition. Having completed the subject, we are going to begin with the objective question is number 1. The figure below shows the rate of photosynthesis against light intensity. Rate of photosynthesis, light intensity. Which of the following statement is the cause of flattening of the curve? A. Photosynthetic pigment is saturated. B. Too much carbon dioxide is available. C. Plant has attained maximum rate of photosynthesis. D. There is a factor other than light which is limiting photosynthesis. So the answer is D. Since there are more than one factor affecting the rate of photosynthesis, we can comfortably say that those other factors, which is not light, are limiting photosynthesis. Number 2, which of the following does not occur during photorespiration? A. Oxygen is used up. B. Wasteful loss of carbon dioxide. C. Carbon dioxide is used up. D. Wasteful loss of energy. During photorespiration, ribulose biphosphate combines with oxygen instead of carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is lost. So carbon dioxide is not used up. Actually, in photorespiration, carbon dioxide is lost. Number 3, the graph below shows photosynthesis at different light intensity. Rate, light intensity. The factor limiting the rate of photosynthesis between O and X is A. Light intensity. B. Carbon dioxide. C. Temperature. D. Oxygen. The answer is A. Light intensity. We said a limiting factor is the one when its concentration is increased, the rate increases. We can see that between O and X, increasing light intensity increases the rate of photosynthesis. Therefore, light is a limiting factor between O and X. Number 4, C3 plants are less efficient than C4 plants in fixing carbon dioxide at low carbon dioxide and high partial pressure of oxygen because C3 plant use more energy. B. In the C3 plant, energy is lost. C. Rubber carboxylase is denatured by high oxygen partial pressure. D. Paper carboxylase has got higher affinity for oxygen. So the answer is B. 5. Photophosphorylation does not occur in C4 plants because A. They use phosphenol pyruvic acid for fixing carbon dioxide. B. They grow mainly at high altitude. C. Are more abundant in a cold region. D. Have scalent leaves which lower internal temperature. So the answer is A. They use phosphenol pyruvic acid for fixing carbon dioxide. Phosphenol pyruvic acid carboxylase does not accept oxygen for photorespiration. Number 6, Photosynthetic bacteria differ from green plants in that they lack a chlorophyll. B. Their source of energy is through oxidation of hydrogen sulfide. C. Their source of energy is through oxidation of iron salts. D. Their source of hydrogen is hydrogen sulfide. I think the answer is D. Photosynthetic plants get hydrogen from water, while photosynthetic bacteria get hydrogen from hydrogen sulfide. Photosynthetic bacteria have chlorophyll as well. B and C apply to chemosynthetic bacteria. They are the one that oxidize inorganic compounds. Number 7, net productivity of C4 plants is higher than that of C3 plants because C4 plants have got high turnover rate. B. Energy accumulates at high rate in C4 plants. C. Photophosphorylation occurs in C3 plant. D. The rate of photorespiration is higher in C4 plant. The answer is A. C4 plants have got high turnover rate because PEP carboxylase has got higher affinity for carbon dioxide. The rate of photorespiration is usually higher in C3 plants because PEP carboxylase in the C4 plant does not accept carbon dioxide. Number 8, which of the following curves in the figure below correctly represents plant adapted to low light intensity? Of course, the answer is C. Because there is very high turnover, the rate of photosynthesis is higher at low light intensity in C than any other plant. Number 9, which of the following is illustrated in the figure below? A. Increase in light intensity. The rate of photosynthesis increases until temperature becomes a limiting factor. When you increase the temperature, there was very little increase in the rate of photosynthesis, so it may not be the answer. The rate of photosynthesis increases with increase in carbon dioxide concentration, but we plotted the rate of photosynthesis again is slight. So the graph does not tell us that the rate of photosynthesis increases with increase in carbon dioxide concentration. It tells us that the rate of photosynthesis increases with increase in light intensity. See, increase in light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis increases indefinitely. No, because when the light intensity was increased, the rate of photosynthesis increased and then leveled off. D. The rate of photosynthesis increases with light intensity until carbon dioxide becomes a limiting factor. I think the answer is D, because when carbon dioxide was increased from 0.03% to 0.1%, you can see a dramatic shift in the rate of photosynthesis. Number 10, which of the following is likely to occur if a photosynthesizing plant was suddenly removed from light? A. Reduction of PGA. B. Accumulation of PGAL. C. Accumulation of PGA. D. No change in PGAL. You can pause and answer. The answer is C, because PGA is the first stable intermediate in the darker stage. Number 11, in which part of the chloroplast a water splitting enzyme mostly located. A. Stroma. B. Intergrana. C. Cytoplasm. D. Grana. Can you pause and answer? The answer is D. Grana. Number 12. Etiolation in plant is usually response to A. Insufficient nutrients. B. Low temperature. C. Insufficient light. D. Too much water. You can pause and answer. So the answer is C. Number 13. In photosynthesis, the major advantage of C4 pathway is to A. Fix carbon dioxide in the Calvin cycle. No, it is the liberated by phosphate. B. Concentrate the carbon dioxide in the cell of the leaf. C. Fix carbon dioxide from atmosphere into the leaf. D. Store carbon dioxide in the form of organic acids. You can pause, answer, then we continue. The answer is C. PEP fixes carbon dioxide from atmosphere into the leaf. PEP carboxylase fixes carbon dioxide from atmosphere into the leaf. Number 14. During that stage of photosynthesis, water is important in that A. Gives off oxygen. B. Provides hydrogen that reduces NAD. C. Reduces carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. D. Provides electron. Can you pause? Find the answer, then we continue. The answer is D, because water photolysis provides electrons to restore the electron lost by pH2. Number 15. The figure below shows the relationship between temperature and rate of photosynthesis in two species A and B, as shown in the graph. Which of the following is the correct conclusion from the results? A. B is the shade plant. A is the sunny plant. B has lower compensation point than B. C. A has a higher optimum temperature than B. D. Photorespiration does not occur in A, but occurs in B. You can pause and get the answer, then we continue. A has a high optimum temperature than B, of course. B has got optimum temperature there, probably has got optimum temperature there. So A has got a high optimum temperature than B. Number 16. Which mineral nutrients are constituent of chlorophyll? A. Potassium and sulfur. B. Nitrogen and magnesium. C. Calcium and phosphorus. D. Zinc and copper. Can you pause? Get the answer and then you continue. So the answer is B. Nitrogen and magnesium are components of chlorophyll. Number 17. Photosynthetic bacteria differ from plant in their nutrition in that bacteria derive energy from oxidation of ammonia, obtain hydrogen for reduction of carbon dioxide from hydrogen sulfide. C. Possess chlorophyll B for trapping light. D. Oxidize hydrogen sulfide to get energy. So you can pause and get the answer. So our answer is B. Obtain hydrogen for reduction of carbon dioxide from hydrogen sulfide. So photosynthetic bacteria obtain energy from sunlight. Therefore A and D are definitely wrong. Then C is wrong because bacteria have got bacterial chlorophyll, not chlorophyll B. Number 18. Which of the following is the role of reduced NADP in the darker stage of photosynthesis? A. Combine with carbon dioxide. B. Provide energy. C. Provide hydrogen. You can pause, get the answer, then we continue. So the answer is C. It provides hydrogen for reduction of carbon dioxide. Of course, B is also a bit correct, but the most correct is C. Number 19. Which of the following color is most effective for photosynthesis? A. Green and red. B. Blue and red. C. Blue and yellow. D. Blue and green. You can pause, get the answer, then we can continue. So the answer is B. 21. Where in the cell does reduction of carbon dioxide occur during photosynthesis? A. Lamella. B. Stroma. C. Potassium. D. Granular membrane. You can pause, get the answer, and we continue. So the answer is B. This is just a fact. Darker stage occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. 22. During what stage of darker reaction is NADPH used? Conversion of A. Ribulose diphosphate to glycerate phosphate. B. Phosphoglyceraldehyde to exose sugar. C. Exose sugar to starch. D. Phosphoglyceric acid to phosphoglyceraldehyde. You can pause and then we continue. So the answer is D. NADPH reduces phosphoglyceric acid to phosphoglyceraldehyde. 23. The figure below illustrates a phenomenon of limiting factor. What is the limiting factor in this case? Increasing temperature and rate of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is not anywhere shown in the graph. Temperature is not a limiting factor because increasing temperature does not increase the rate of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is not mentioned in the graph. So the answer is D. Light, the limiting factor, because increasing light from low light intensity to high light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis increased. Number 24. Which of the following are produced during light-dependent stage of photosynthesis? A. ADP. B. NADPH2. C. PGAL. D. NADP+. You pause, get the answer, and then we continue. The answer is B. In that dependent stage, NADPH and ATP are produced. Number 25. The first carbohydrate made in photosynthesis is A. Ribose sugar. B. Phosphoglyceric acid. C. Ribulose. D. phosphoglyceraldehyde. You can pause and then answer. So our answer is phosphoglyceraldehyde, which is obtained after reduction of phosphoglyceric acid with NADPH. 26. During water stress, photosynthesis reduces mainly due to shortage of A. Carbon dioxide, B. Mineral salts, C. Water, D. Sunlight. You pause, get the answer, then we continue. The answer is A. Carbon dioxide, because during water stress, stomata grows. 27. A close relationship between the spectrum for photosynthesis and the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll indicate that A. All light absorbed by chlorophyll is used for photosynthesis. B. Chlorophyll is responsible for absorption of light for photosynthesis. C. Photosynthesis proceeds after light absorption. D. Light is trapped in chlorophyll. Can pause, get the answer, and then we continue. So the answer is B. Chlorophyll is responsible for absorption of light for photosynthesis. So absorption spectrum of chlorophyll and action spectrum of photosynthesis is that chlorophyll absorbs light, which is necessary for photosynthesis. 28. The product of light reaction in photosynthesis are NADH2, ATP and oxygen. B. NADP, ATP and oxygen. C. NADPH, ADP and oxygen. D. NADPH, ATP and oxygen. You can pause, get the answer, and then we continue. So the answer is D. NADPH, ATP and oxygen. 29. Which of the following stages of photosynthesis uses light energy directly? A. Regeneration of ribulose diphosphate. B. Production of energy in the form of ATP. C. Reduction of carbon dioxide. D. Formation of phosphoglycerate. Can you pause, get the answer, and we continue. So the answer is B. Production of energy in the form of ATP. That dependent stage produces ATP and NADPH. Finally, number 30. If carbon dioxide containing radioactive carbon was added to a suspension of photosynthesizing algae, in which of the following compound would radioactive carbon show first? A. Glucose. B. Phosphoglyceric acid. C. Ribulose biphosphate. D. Triose sugar. You can pause and get the answer, then we continue. The answer is B. So thank you very much for listening. Find more questions and the answers at the website digitalteachers.co.uk. Also do me a favor and subscribe to promote my website. Subscription at digitalteachers.co.uk is free. Subscription for these videos is free of charge.